Hi, this is Asa, and welcome back to my channel, I guess is what people say. Welcome to my channel. But I don't even know if I'd call it a like channel with a capital C at this point, but welcome back anyway if you're here. If you saw my first video or if you're here for the first time, I'm brand new to YouTube and this whole type of thing. So I'm just here to have some fun and yap endlessly about my crafting projects and craft adjacent things. So let's get into it. So I was able to finish my winter projects for 2025 in time, which is very exciting. And I'm really proud I was able to do that. It took a hot minute, but I blasted through. So one of the projects from the first video that I had outstanding was the Anchor cardigan. And I made it in Cascade. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the exact yarn name. It's the fingering weight yarn. It wasn't 220. Is it thinner than that? But yeah, I think it was Heritage. I'll link it. I'll rewatch the last video to find out. But it's a fingering weight yarn, and I was nervous about the color, but actually really love the color. It's very pink. It's pink. It's pink. Pink, pink, pink. And I'm into that. I like color. I like something that's going to be a little funky. The buttons are super cute. I got these on a trip to LA when I stopped at the Mood fabric store back in September. And I was like, these are perfect. I will say I haven't worn it as much as I would like. I like that it's nice and lightweight. It's got not a lot of like drape to it, but because it's so lightweight, it's like really stretchy and like it doesn't really like when I've tried to button it up, it's like the buttons just pop open. Like there's no tension, to like hold it closed. They'll just slide right out, even though the buttonhole's the right size and everything, which is honestly fine because I never intended to wear it buttoned up anyway. It was always supposed to be like an open kind of thing. So not the end of the world. I'd like to wear it a little bit more, like try to like, find some other outfits to work around with it. But that is done. So we have that. Then we have my Weasley sweater. I did finish not only mine, but my boyfriend's. And then I made two like miniature versions for our cats, which we wore for Christmas. Like we took a little family Christmas photo, which was super cute. But yeah, finished this in time with a little time to spare to make the cat sweaters. That was a kind of last minute addition. Thankfully, they're small. So that was pretty easy. I used the Sunny sweater pattern like for a cat that I found on Etsy, and it'd been sitting in my want to buy thing for a while. So I was like, let's just go for it. Honestly, I feel like I completely like altered the pattern entirely and just kind of I tried it for one of my cats and it was like way too big, even though I adjusted like all this gauge and stitch amounts and all that. So I just kind of winged it after that and it turned out okay. But yeah, so Weasley sweater complete, all four of them, which was kind of nuts. I don't know how I did that and still slept somehow. The Shoujo Beret by Fran Lopez. I know I had talked about this quite a bit in my last video, and it is done. It's super cute. So you can see it's like a nice, like puffy beret kind of thing, a boina. But there's the bow. I thought the bow was never going to end. Again, I do it to myself with the fingering weight yarn. But I just like how it looks and it looks so fine and like detailed and stuff. So yeah, like call me the thin weight yarn person. But it's really cute. It's a really cute little hat. You just kind of sort of slouchy. I will say, of course, the slouchiness kind of lends to, doesn't look great with this hairstyle, but the slouchiness kind of lends to the bow sort of flopping down. What else? I mean, unless you put some sort of like interfacing inside of it or tack it down or starch it, of course it's going to. So I think I might just tack it down like the top corners to the hat, like just to kind of keep the top corners like in place ish. We'll see. I haven't yet worn it because, of course, by the time I finished it, it started getting hot in Phoenix. Annoying. But I do have plans for later in 2026 to be spending some time on the East Coast for like family stuff, so some weddings, the holidays this year. So like the DC and New York area, which means I will actually get to wear like my warm projects. So planning for that, not like a whole wardrobe or anything, but I'm like, oh, I might actually get to wear like a proper wool sweater somewhere. Hooray! And on that, so those are my 2025 like winter projects that were finally finished. And I was like, okay, I have my stuff lined up for 2026, summer 26, which I'll get to in a minute. But I'm like, I don't have the yarn for it yet. I can't start anything. I can't kiss anything on. Like, what do we have around? Like, my fingers are itchy and I need to like get into something, even if it's small. So, thinking about a couple things. So I have this yarn that a really good friend who lives in Seattle got for me last year for my birthday, and it was just a single skein. So sock weight yarn, um, my thing. And I was like, well, I haven't yet made socks yet. I'm not ready for socks. I know it will happen eventually, and it would be really nice to make like a custom sock that fits me personally because I have like really small feet, but like thickums ankles and calves. So yeah, it's kind of hard to just find regular socks that like fit both a small foot and like a bigger leg. So I'll get there eventually. I feel like socks are kind of my final frontier. But I was like, okay, what do I do with a single skein of fingering weight yarn? And so I was like, maybe I'll make a little accessory. I plan on dancing a lot more this year, so I made myself some leg warmers out of it. I think they're really cute, actually, and I love pink, shades of pink, magenta, colors like that. Such a power color. So yeah, I made these cute little leg warmers, just like self-drafted, basic little tubes, basically. And then I also, another friend of mine was visiting Scotland last year on a, just for a vacation. And he texted me and was like, hey, I'm at this little shop and they're selling yarn. Do you, send me a photo? And he's like, do you want anything? And I was like, I would love the green, like the green one. So I had that single ball and I was like, what am I going to do with this? Like, it's, Scottish wool, like, again, designed for climates that are not mine. And I thought, again, later in the year when I'm going to be in a warmer place, I'm like, I only have one ball. It's got to be an accessory. So I made the fuzzy pixie hood from Fable Knitwear, which I made about a year or so ago for a friend who lives in Philadelphia. But this is super fucking cute. It's so cute, and I can't wait to wear it. I was like, I've already made it. I already kind of know how it goes, and it's adorable. I had some leftover silk mohair from my cloud sweater from Knitting for Olive. Oh, my hand. From Knitting for Olive for my cloud sweater. And it was also green, so in the clover colorway. So I was like, well, I've got a little bit left. I think I have enough to like crank out this, which I did. So super exciting. It's really cute. Can't wait to wear it later this year, much later this year. But that was sort of an in-betweener. And now we're in 2026. Officially, we're here. So this year I really wanted I did like a little compilation video just for myself on like my personal Instagram of like everything I knit last year. And it was like 19 projects, which is a lot. I know there's a lot of conversation about like this pressure to like produce to high volume in like the knitting and crochet world right now. Because there's people like influencers and whatever, like on TikTok and all these different platforms that are like, oh, like look, I made 10 sweaters this month. And I'm like, 10 sweaters? Like that's a lot. And I think it's totally valid for us to be maybe wary of like that perspective and that approach to making things by hand and this kind of activity. Because like by nature, I think it just feels sort of antithetical to be like, I'm going to produce the most amount, like highest volume I'm humanly capable of, like, because I gotta, like, whose metric are we going by? You know what I mean? That's not to say that, like, if you are a product knitter, I consider myself more of a product knitter. I enjoy the process of making, but at the same time, like, I'm not just doing it, like, I would not be happy to just, like, knit, frog, knit, frog, knit, frog a project like 100 times. I mean, hopefully not 100 times, but over and over and over again, right? It would start to annoy me because I'm like, I want to get to the end of this to have something I can use, something I can wear, something I can enjoy. So I get that perspective too. And I don't know where everyone's landing on that. I'm sure some of the people that are, being, I don't want to say called out, but some folks that are, people are referring to, maybe they're donating all those sweaters. The 10 sweater a month people, maybe they're all for friends, for all I know, for all any of us know. So who knows? Either way, though, I'm like, please take care of your joints. Please be mindful of your consumption and your production and like what you're doing it for. And it's because it's special. It's special to make something by hand, especially in 2026 when, everything's chaotic and, we have AI and blah, 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 like things that are actively undermining the labor of human beings. I think it's important to be mindful about how we're using our labor and for what purpose, and going into it being like, it's radical to do in the first place. So, like, I think keeping that in mind is important. So, on that note, I felt like a lot of my projects, when I looked at my little reel that I made, I was like, oh no, I'm like kind of falling into this trap a little bit. And maybe this is familiar to some folks, but I've been sewing for a really long time. I started sewing when I was like 18. And I've always enjoyed sewing and I love to learn just as a general thing. And so, something I found over the years, like a situation I would find myself in, is that I would see a fabric or a pattern and be like, oh, I love that. I want to make that pattern, or I see this fabric and I want to make something from this fabric, right? And that was kind of it. Like, that was the start and end of it. Like, I would see it and then I would just do it. And that was that, which is great. And I feel like every project, regardless of like what you do with it at the end, you do learn a lot, right? Like, it's a new experience. That's something I've enjoyed getting out of like sort of handcraft, and all these different skills, is learning something new, right? You get experience like putting in a zipper, doing a flat felt seam, a welt pocket, etc. And you take that with you into your future projects. So that's always great, regardless of, your conclusion for your project. But I just found myself so often making things that like I never actually wore and I never would wear. Like, I'd look at it and I'd be like, oh, that's really cute, but not for me. And it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Unless you plan to give it away. Like, if you're trying to make something for yourself, it sort of defeats the point of like the money you spent on the materials, and to a degree, like the time, the wear and tear on your tools, on your body, and all of that, just to walk away and be like, I hate it. So that's something I've really tried to work on, a lot with sewing and that perspective. And honestly, I haven't been sewing that much the last few years, like a little bit here and there, mostly mending, but I haven't really made clothing for myself in a while, mostly because I've been on this knitting train for a bit, since like 2024. So a big part of that is like, I realize with the knitwear, like doing this little recap for myself, for 2025, I'm like looking at all the little clips of things and I'm like, oh, I made that top, but I don't really like it that much. Like, I never wear it, or that's not really my style, or, like I saw the pattern itself and I thought, oh, that's so cute. And maybe I could, work with that in this, only to realize after I made it that I'm like, oh, it was either the pattern itself I didn't like, or it was maybe not the right yarn for that project. And, or maybe like, the fit just wasn't how I wanted it. Like the Helix pullover that I made last year, I didn't realize that the yarn that I bought, which is the cotton merino base from Super Glow Fiber, was amazing. And I love all of her yarn. It's so fun. But I thought it would, when I blocked it, that the sleeves would like stretch out more, and they did not. So like, it ended up being more of like a 3/4 sleeve than like the full sleeve, which is what I wanted. And I just kind of left it as is, thinking like it's fine. But I don't wear it as much because I didn't take that extra time to like really make it how I wanted. So that's really something I'm trying to focus on this year. And like, mistakes will be made, of course, regardless of how much planning you do, but really trying to like have the foresight to like plan my projects out with like my whole wardrobe in mind is something I'm really trying to shift my focus to this year. And that was with the help of, there's a company called Seamwork. This is not an ad, this is just, I'm a fan. There's a company called Seamwork that, it's like sort of a sewing platform. So they sell patterns and things like that, but they have a lot of really cool and useful like workshops, articles about like how-to guides, how to install certain things, sewing skills and tips, that kind of stuff. They have a really cute podcast too, but it just got me thinking about sewing a lot. And I took one of their little workshops. It's called Design Your Wardrobe. And I mean, it's a self-paced thing. It's not like buy my course, but I took that, just, I was like, maybe I'll just try it. And I was like, all this time, all these years, I don't know why this never occurred to me. But in a nutshell, and I won't spoil it, if you do want to take the full course like workshop, it's totally worth doing because it's more detailed than I can explain. But essentially, it's like, well, let's approach our projects. And in this case, it's sewing, but I think it's applicable to knitting or crochet or whatever other craft form it is. Like, let's approach this as if we are a fashion designer for ourselves, right? Like, we're making a collection, and you can base that collection on anything you want, but the sort of natural idea is that it's based on the seasons, right? Like every fashion house designer label, etc., they have like a spring summer and a fall winter. And I think that makes a lot of sense, you know, because obviously that changes the nature of the material, that changes the nature of the structure itself in a really big fundamental way. And yeah, I just thought, oh, duh. Why didn't I think about that? Why didn't that not occur to me all these years? And I think part of it is because I always approach these things more of as a technician than like from a design perspective. And that has been like a game changer, like flipped a switch in my brain. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So I'm really excited to kind of take that approach into 2026. I've like sketched out I'm looking at them right now on my wall. I've sketched out my spring summer collection, if you will, of projects and like putting them into outfits and seeing like, okay, it's not just a one-off piece. It's like, I'm going to wear it with this, I'm going to make this and blah, blah. So I'm really excited for that because it's a combination of sewing, crochet, and knit wear, which I think is going to be really fun. And I've got a couple things going so far. I have not ordered all the yarn that I'm going to need for the knit portion of things. I have some, but not all. So, you know, paycheck to paycheck kind of thing. Um, but I do have most of the fabric with me as well for the sewing stuff. And I'll drop the links to the patterns I'm mentioning down below, so you can see what I'm talking about and my vision, hopefully. But the first thing on the queue, or what I'm working on right now, is it's the only crochet garment I have for this collection, and I'm honestly like not a big fan of crochet garments, generally speaking, unless it's like the beach. That's just my personal preference. I feel like crochet for me, like on me, I don't really like the texture, like how it feels. I know there's a million different crochet stitches and all that, but regardless, it always feels like a little dense to me, unless it's intentionally like that open net, you know, kind of situation. I made a crochet shirt like that for my boyfriend last year, 2 years ago, and it's really nice for summer to like throw over something. So in that way, I'm into that. So when it's like more open, flowy, but like just crocheted tight like this, and like for clothes, it's not for me. So I found this pattern. I believe I heard about the designer when I was watching Rosemary and Pine Fiber Arts, her like knitting around the world series, and she did a video on like Latin American designers, and I was like, great, because like there's so many parts of Latin America that are so hot. And I'm like, yes, I live in Phoenix. It is a million degrees. Like it is very hot in the summer. So unfortunately, like cozy wool sweaters are a rarity and not something I want to spend like a ton of time and money on currently. But the heat here lasts for way longer than a normal season does. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to have stuff that's summer friendly and heat friendly. And that has to be important. It has to be something I take into account as much as I would love to make endless wool sweaters. But so this one is, I'll drop the pattern name down below. I can't remember the name of the designer right now, but it's it's called the It's a Beautiful Day top. So I'm using Cascade Noble Cotton tie-dye in the colorway Peacock. And it's so cute. I love the fit. I'm like, wow. I've tried it on a few times just to make sure how it's looking. And it's so cute. It fits so nice. It fits so well. I love like it's not too dense. It's dense enough that it's not like entirely see-through, but it's not so dense. It's basically like rows and rows of treble crochet. Um, but I love the yoke. It's like this really fun sort of it's a little easier to see like against the skin. You know what I mean? Like the contrast is a little more apparent. Um, but it's so nice. It's so nice. And I'm really into it and I love it so far. I have maybe like 7 more rows to go before it's done. Super easy pattern. Like I made a lot of adjustments and honestly, like once you kind of figure out the general design, it was just like, oh, I got it from here. So yeah, it's been really fun to make, and I'm excited to finish it so soon too. I was like, I thought this would take longer, but yeah, highly recommend. I'm really enjoying this one. So there's that. So the only other project so far for the summer collection that I have is for I'm making the Pierre dress. I think the designer's German. It's basically like an entire like fully lace, but it's like a nice like body hugging dress, and I feel like I'll have to wear some sort of slip or something underneath it. Something maybe just nude underwear, perhaps. I'll figure it out. But it looks really beautiful. I feel like it's going to be my biggest lift for these projects because it's entirely lace. And I've done a little bit of lace work, but like nothing like that. So I'm excited for that. And also, I was like a little stumped on what yarn to use because personally, I feel like for patterns that have a lot of texture, whether it's lace, cables, whatever, I personally just like I don't like when you have a lot of textured patterns with variegated colored yarn. I feel like for me, it like kind of hurts my eyes. Like I can't, all the texture gets lost with all the like different color changes. And I don't mean like 1 to 2 colors. I mean, I'm talking like, when it's like 20 different colors and they're not like shades or tones of each other. It's like distinct colors. I'm like, there's a lot going on here. Like it's like tie dye, but then cables. And I'm like, I can't see the cables, like, because I'm looking at all the colors, they don't stand out. So I was on the hunt for like something that would work for this dress and like what I had in mind, but also kind of the inspiration for this summer collection, if you will. I was thinking like Sirena Tropical, like it's warm, it's vibrant, it's the ocean, it's sparkle, it's like tropical climates and like, that kind of feeling, but also like Sirena, not like Little Mermaid Sirena. I mean like the magical realism of the ocean and all that. So that's kind of what I was going for. And I don't normally wear cool tones. I'm more of like a warm tone, kind of like my skin and like just my preferences. So I don't wear a lot of blue usually, but that one is an exception to the crochet top. I actually really like it because it's like, I don't know if I'd call it a warm tone blue or like a teal, but I think the balance with the white kind of like brightens it up a lot. It's still like a nice bright color, so I'm cool with that. And so for the Pierre dress, I actually got this yarn. So it is the Lang Yarns Lame Soft, and it's the colorway Petrol. Um, it is like a deep blue, like a teal. It's hard to see, but it's like this sort of teal blue color. But it's got this strand of like this copper metallic in it, and I was like, need it. I gotta go there. So I'm maybe taking a gamble with the lace pattern. I'm hoping it will not obstruct like what the lace looks like when it's like sparkly like this or shimmery. But we'll see. We'll see as we go along. But I'm really excited. I like saw this yarn and I was like, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. Like it's so beautiful. It's so like that. So that's where my head's at. So let's see the other projects that are knit for this and some crochet. So I'm planning to do the Louisa skirt, which has this really beautiful like wave shape inside of it. It also has like a matching top. So I'm jury's out on whether I'm going to do the top as well. Maybe. But I was planning to do that in the Knitting for Olive pure silk yarn in, I think it's cream and French anemone. So also like a blue, but again, offset by the white. And then let's see, the birthday tea by Fran Lopez. It's just really cute and it's been on my list for a while. And I was like, I really liked her pattern for the shoujo beret, and it's really adorable. So I was like, this could be fun. The sample photo has like more of a pastel tone because that's like more her thing. As I said before, pastel is not really my thing, which is totally fine. Obviously, that's the beauty of this kind of thing where you can like change out the colors to whatever you want. So I'm thinking more of like an off-white base, like an ecru maybe, and then the texture details would be like maybe an orange and a magenta or something like that, right? Like a little warm pop of color on something a little bit more neutral. Maybe we'll see. Um, And then I'm also planning to make hopefully this was my idea, the mini mirror bag. I think it's by Le Poule. So it's like a little crochet bag, like just a small little handbag. And I thought, we will see. That's a maybe, because my thought was, well, maybe I can make it out of whatever leftover yarn I have from all of these summer projects, right? So it's almost like a little compilation of everything, like all the materials I used for the whole collection, and make it into a little purse. So we'll see. We'll see if I have any left over, how much I have left over, and kind of go from there. So that's a maybe. As for sewing for part of this, so I have 3 patterns I got from Etsy and 3 I got from Seamwork. The Seamwork patterns, one is the Savannah tank top, which is just like a really simple like cami tank top. The fabric I got for that, I got off Etsy. It's like a white cotton lawn with like blue flower embroidery. It looks really nice, really breathable. My goal for the sewing this year is like I want to perfect putting in a shelf bra. I've done it before one time on a tank top, and it was okay. Like it turned out okay. It wasn't my favorite. I didn't feel like I had a lot of support. It was just like kind of there. So, like it wasn't unsupportive, but I have a larger bust, and like especially in the summer, as much as I want to go braless, like it's just not practical reality for some things. So unless it's like high compression something or other. So I've been thinking about that a lot. That's something I want to set as a personal challenge. I'm like, oh, I want to be able to install a shelf bra into the clothes that I'm making, so I don't have to think about a bra. Like it's just there. I have this top from Uniqlo that's just like the tank top, but with the built-in bra, and it is the best thing ever, especially in the summertime. So that's my goal with a lot of the tank tops and dresses that I'll be sewing, is to install a bra if there isn't already one in there. So the Savannah tank top is coming. Fabric is on the way. I have the pattern already. I've had it for years. So I'm excited for that. Then it is the Citron dress, which is like a jersey knit, kind of like body hugging, like casual dress, which has a built-in bra that comes with the pattern. It's very exciting. So I got, again, with my Sirena Tropical kind of vibe. This is a scrap, but this is the fabric. I got it off of Stone Mountain and Daughters. It's like a small fabric company, fabric store. They have like a partnership with Seamwork, so you can get a discount, which I did. I was very happy about. So yeah, super pretty. I really like this a lot. Again, this sort of like ocean kind of thing. I think the fabric is called it Shore Remains something. I can't remember exactly. Shore Remains blank. But yeah, it's really nice, really soft. It's like a cotton blend, like cotton jersey with a little bit of spandex. And yeah, really excited for this one. I also have, I'm making the Miller shorts from Seamwork, which are kind of just like sort of standard shorts, but like a tie at the waist, and really cute, kind of like open, breezy, not baggy, but breezy. And I'm making those in this orange linen I got from Mood Fabrics. Really nice linen. It just made sense. It's hot. I realized I don't really own any shorts that aren't like jean shorts, so I was like, oh, that could be kind of nice to like change it up. Then I've got the 3 things I got off Etsy. I'm a bit of a pattern hoarder, so I've had these things for a while, some of them, but one of them is a Gloria sun top. I believe that's from Subversive Femme. She does a lot of like vintage patterns and like repros, both knitting and sewing. I really like her a lot. I've made a few of her things. But one of them is called the Gloria sun top, and it's like 3 different versions of like just a basic sort of summer top from, it looks like the 50s. So based on the style. So again, I wanted something that was really lightweight and breathable, nice and breezy. And when it hits 115 degrees here, or I don't know, 43 degrees Celsius in summer, I didn't want to be melting. Polyester be gone. So I got this from Fabric Godmother. Again, scraps because I already cut out the pattern. Fabric Godmother, it's the Sunly Cotton Gauze double foil fabric. It's super cute. It says it's like a pink. It really looks more of like a really light cream. Like I could see the argument for it being pink, but honestly, even in the light, it looks like a warm off-white kind of color. But the little suns are like this little rose gold foil. So cute and perfect. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found this. I've recently discovered Fabric Godmother, and they're my new favorite thing. Even if I have to pay for this stupid tariff tax, I will pay it. Another fabric I got off there was for this other dress I got called the Midi dress, and had good reviews. It's not an AI pattern as far as I know. And it's just like a midi length dress, like kind of like a sundress. And I saw this fabric and I was like, so again, this sort of like tropical, bright kind of situation. I'm obsessed with this fabric. This is the most me fabric I think I may have ever seen. So I'm really excited for this. It's like a viscose fabric, or viscose fabric, like a rayon blend, right? And it's super drapey. I'm really excited. I think this will wear well in the summer, especially for a dress where it's going to be a breezy. I'm probably going to line the bodice for that one, just to have a little like, you know, sweat absorption, especially if I'm putting a built-in bra in there. So there's that. And then lastly, it is the mini. So I think I may have bought an AI pattern by mistake. Not really realizing it was AI. I really wanted to wear a mini dress. I wanted to make a mini dress this year, like just like a short, kind of maybe slutty, like a little more like a little more scandalous than I would normally wear. Because honestly, I'm turning 35 this year, and I'm like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna toot it. Like, I feel like I look better than ever, and I have never liked wearing short stuff or like super low cut things. Not because I'm like, but like I am not fussy about my clothes. Like, I want to just put on my clothes and then they're there. I don't want like, that's why like short skirts have always, and if anything, annoyed me, because I'm like, I don't want to walk every 5 steps and have to like adjust my skirt the whole time I'm wearing it. Like, what's the point? It's so annoying. But that's the benefit of making your own clothes, is you can make them to your exact specifications. And I'm like, if I want to like make it just so like it doesn't ride up as much, I can do that. I have all the power. So I really wanted to make like sort of a mini dress when I like go out dancing, and not everything has to be knee length, right? You can have a little something that's like a little shorter. It's a little more fun, like frisky, playful kind of thing. So I found this pattern and I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Great. And like, I saw this YouTube video the other day of this woman who sews, and she's like, beware the AI patterns. And I'm like, oh my God, did I buy one of those? I think I might have. So I fortunately, like, the sizing seems kind of strange. I cut out my fabric because I live on the edge. But fortunately, I have a good amount left over for something like this. So, like, if need be, I can add panels if something's too small or whatever. But it's this fabric I got also at that trip to LA. Look at this. It's so fun. Again, maybe I have a thing for shimmer. So the little foil, like the gold foil in there, is so pretty. Also like a rayon viscose, and so light and so like breathable. I'm so excited for this dress, which will also probably be lined, not just in the bodice, but maybe the skirt too, just to account for any see-through things. So there's that. So those are my summer projects. I'm super excited. I will report back as I go along, and you know, pick through everything. Maybe I'll even like show the whole outfit together, because some of them were like combined things. So that would be really cool. I'm thinking the Gloria sun top, the beautiful day crochet top, maybe even the Savannah tank top can all be worn with the shorts. I think it'd be really cute to mix and match. So I had it all planned. I planned it that way. So I'm really excited to have some interchangeable things. For later in the year, all tentative, but I'm hoping to plan to make just a few projects that are like inspired by my favorite anime. I've always loved the idea of like subtle fandom in that way. So stay tuned for that. But it's also the year of gift knitting. I want to like make a couple gifts for people. I'm usually not. I'm usually like, I'm making stuff for me, and that's it. Some may call it selfish, but like, I can send you to YouTube University, and you can learn how to do it too. We can spread the love, spread the wealth. But yeah, there are a couple things I want to make for like close friends and family this year, just because I want to. I made a lot of stuff last year for myself. I mean, pretty much all of it, and you know, like, it's nice. It's generosity is from the heart. It's not on demand, is what I always say. And this year, I feel like that's definitely like where I want to put a little bit more energy. And on that note, I feel like obviously I'm not some sort of famous YouTube person. I'm just one person on this platform out of the bajillions of people. So if anybody even watches this video, I mean, it's a win. But I feel like I can't talk about like all these fun projects and all the fun things I'm making and all that without mentioning like the incredibly horrible time we're experiencing right now in the US. Um, I know a lot of people have feelings are like, well, like stick to the topic at hand and like not everything's political, but it is political. And I don't think in good conscience you can be out in the world right now and like look away from what is happening, like with ice and God, a million other things, you know, every day. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I respect that we, you know, many of us that are crafters and makers and stuff, you know, feel some sense of serenity and like retreat in a way for like, you know, being able to work on our projects and do something we feel is productive and like peaceful and beautiful. And it was actually in that vein that I had been thinking a lot, like I'm sure many people have, like, what can I do? You know, like, okay, call my representative. I donate if I can. I can protest if I can, but like, is there anything else? You know, like what can I do? You know, and I don't want to say there's nothing, right? Because that's not an answer. Like that's not good enough. But I'm I've been in that, you know, locked in that question for the last year and a half. And I've just been thinking a lot about how protest looks different for different people. And doing something is essential. Like, we can't, I mean, maybe you can't go out in the street, but like, there are things you can do, and that means something. And so I've been thinking a lot about how the thing that I enjoy, like crafting, whether it's sewing or it's knitting or crochet, how that can be used to like as an act of protest, not just on a personal level, but on a larger scale. And I read about Sarah Corbett a while ago and Craftivism and all that. I know she has her like Craftivist manifesto. And I thought that was really powerful. I think it does mean something. It may not be the flashiest, sexiest form of protest, but I think, you know, it will take all kinds to like make the impact we want. So I checked out how to be a craftivist from the library, which if you don't have a library card, you need to get one ASAP. Say that loud, loud and proud. Please get a library card. As a librarian, I feel like it's my obligation as part of the profession to guilt people into getting a library card if they don't have one. But if you already have one, I recommend this. I've been reading it. I'm not done with it yet, but there's just the first quote in the introduction says, if we want our world to be a more beautiful, kind, and fair place, then shouldn't our activism be more beautiful, kind, and fair? And I know some people will disagree with that. I know, like, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I have no interest in getting into an argument about what the right way to protest is, or the way that's more important or more impactful, or however you want to, you know, disagree with it. Like, I think there is room for different ideas and different forms of protest. And I don't think it's only one way to like move the needle. So personally, I like as a pacifist on principle, that really spoke to me a lot. I read the Nonviolence Handbook by Michael Nagler years ago during the first Trump administration, and that really stuck with me. I highly recommend it. And I mean, if pacifism appeals to you, I completely understand that other folks aren't wanting to go that route. But yeah, this is what has been really on my mind a lot lately, and I've reached out to friends I know in the local area that are also crafters just to see if there'd be any interest in doing some sort of like community art project that, you know, highlights like this is actually the country we want it to be. Like we don't want this, you know, and like serving as this sort of gentle reminder to everyone, like this is not the United States that we want and it's not what anyone deserves, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Like, period, full stop. It's wrong. Everything that is happening right now in the street is wrong, and there's no justifying it. And we have to actively express our dissent against that. So I've been working on that. I just started getting this idea together with this like group of people. I'm really excited. I want to try to make it as big as possible, and get as many people involved as I can. Community members, you don't have to be a crafter. If you're interested and you're in the Phoenix area, please let me know. We're hoping to have it done by the 4th of July because, you know, it's America 250 and this is, you know, celebration of the US and patriotism and all that. But like, what are we really celebrating at this point? Like, how can we look around and be proud of who we are as a country when these horrors are happening in the street and have been happening for a very long time? And I think it's important to remind people like what the right path is, the human path, and like choosing empathy and choosing humanity. And that is what I plan to do. So yeah, again, if you're in the Phoenix area and you're interested in participating, please let me know. Be happy to chat with you and see how you feel like you can participate and explain like what the plan is. So anyway, that's all I have. This is really long. It's 40 minutes. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this all the way to the end, but if you did, I'm happy you did. And I hope to make more of these in the future. Now I have a little bit better lighting and a little bit better background. This is all my Sailor Moon collectibles, my cute poskets, my stuffies, my banjo, and various other things back here. If that's distracting, I guess I could change this up. But yeah, for now, that's where we are. But anyway, thank you so much. And I hope to see you soon. Leave a comment or a like or a follow if you want to. And I hope to get around to making more of these. So until then, have a great day. Hang in there. Drink some teas. What I'm doing, my stomach is hurting. All this, like, it's a lot, but we will make it through. Bye.